nigga with a rap. They ain't never did it, they ain't really trap.
Beat me up, Scotty.
Me and her together, we just count it up. Money on my mind, I can't get enough. Don't play with my money, you don't want no beef. Cause I come from the bottom, I come from the street. When she first saw me, she said, who is that? When a man saw me, he called me
$1 an hour. You know, it's crazy, right? There's money everywhere. There's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino is the name. They're hedge fund managers making...
Hey, yo, what's going on right now? You're watching Casino is the Name. And in this video, I wanted to come to you guys and talk to you guys about real estate. It's been a lot of interest on this channel about real estate. And, you know, it's a lot to talk about, you know. So I wanted to come on here live. We can have like an open discussion. And so basically, let's get into it, all right? So I'm going to tell you my history, how I started in real estate. Now, I came from a family that had real estate in South Georgia, a lot of land, things like that. But I was always a kid. I was never really connected as far as like, I was never really involved in like the family estate or whatever. So when I got to become a man, I went into the military at like 19, right? So my first active duty base was in Germany, right? So I got sent over there. There was no way I was going to be buying land in Germany or buying houses in Germany or nothing like that. I was fresh out the hood. I didn't really know too much. So then I come back to the United States. And when I come back to the United States, I'm kind of like on and off of orders because I went into the reserve. So I'm kind of just like living that jump around on orders lifestyle. So I was kind of rolling stone or whatever. So wasn't really like trying to be set up anywhere. Didn't really have a lot of good information about real estate as far as through examples or anything like that. Didn't really have any real guide or whatever. So I grew up in apartments, you know. So when I'm thinking about getting my own place, like most people who grew up in apartments, if you grew up in apartments and you start talking about getting your own place, you're probably gonna get an apartment because that's kind of what you're exposed to. That's kind of what you know. If you grew up in a house, more than likely you're more inclined to want to get your own house because you were exposed to your family buying houses and things like that. So I was used to living in apartments. I'm thinking I'm gonna get my own apartment. All my friends pretty much live in apartments. We city kids, we grew up in apartments and things like that. So that's kind of where I was at. So I got on military orders and I ended up getting on these year-long orders. And while I was out there doing the orders at Robins Air Force Base, there was a guy named, his last name was Bailey. So Sergeant Bailey, you know, I was an airman at the time. So Sergeant Bailey was out there talking about, you know, a conversation that he overheard at work when he was working in corporate America about how poor people buy things they should rent and rich people, and how poor people buy things they should rent and they rent things they should buy, right? So he was saying how poor people will rent an apartment, rent a house, and they'll buy a car, right? And the car is the depreciating asset, and the apartment or their housing is something they should purchase that will appreciate over time. But instead, they do it the opposite way, right? So for me right there, that was like a, hold on, he said, Snuggle668 said drop the link. Which link? Somebody just said drop the link. I'm not sure which link. But, so, let me see. I don't know if it's this link. I don't know. Can I do that down here? It's not letting me. It's not letting me. I don't know. I was trying to drop a link. But anyway, so I, you know, he was saying that, you know, so from me hearing that, it kind of hit him back then when he first heard it, the way his statement hit me, you know, because I'm thinking like, dang, you know, poor people do, like all of my friends or family members, like thinking about the things that even myself was purchasing at the time. Most of those things didn't appreciate in value. If you tried to resell something, you couldn't even resell it. You know, it was like once you purchased it, whatever it was yours, right? If you buy something made of plastic and it tear up, it's just tore up. Like it's never gonna be worth what it was when you first purchased it. So was just thinking about that, like, man, we all knew that as soon as you drive a car off the lot from a dealership, it automatically starts losing value. So I was just like, man, maybe I need to look at this, right? So as he continues to talk, and how he was saying that at the time, like when he heard that statement, him and his group of friends, they was like the new kids on the block. They was making a lot of money. They was young. They was in their early 20s, and they were driving Escalades and Mercedes Benzes up to apartments, and they were bragging about their big screen TVs and things like that. But they were living in this apartment, and they were looking at the guys who had the houses driving, like Volvos, but they had no idea that these people was living in like massive houses, and so it was just kind of like what they thought was showing of money was like the opposite. It was a showing of how poor minded you were, and so that conversation that I had with him changed my lens. And so he starts talking about ever since then he's been buying houses and building his portfolio. He reached out to the people at his job who knew about building wealth, and they helped him build his portfolio up to, he was at 12 houses at the time and looking to double that over the next couple of years. And so I was like, man, that's amazing. And I was like, well, I'm renting right now because I was on these orders that were temporary orders anyway. But I was renting, and he was like, yo, you should buy you a house. And I was like, well, I don't know how to do that. Like, I don't know nobody who did that. Like, I never witnessed it before. I wasn't around anybody while they was in the process of it. So he said, well, I can show you how to do it. So he helped me out, showed me how to buy my first house. And it's been up since then. I only purchased one other house since then. So I only have two houses, okay? It's not like, I'm not saying like, oh, I got a lot of houses out here. Not saying that. But I bought my first house. He helped me buy it the right way. And that's another thing I think that a lot of people have a lot of anxiety about real estate or buying houses because they don't know how to buy them the right way. I had no like, I guess like hesitation when it comes to like purchasing a house because I know how to buy right now. Like, I'm very, very confident in how to buy a house, right? Like what to look for, the terms. I'm very familiar. I've been to a couple closings, not just my two. I've been to several. I've probably been to 7 closings, because I also go with other people. My mom closed on a house, like I've been to a lot of closings. And so my son got a chance to also witness going to a closing at his age. At the time he was maybe 5 or 6. He was able to go to a closing with my mom or whatever. So he had been going to closings. So being able to see it and get that kind of confidence and around people who know how to buy something the right way, it like alleviates a lot of those second guesses. Because when I talk to a lot of people about buying a house, they're always worried. They're always like, I know people who make $120,000 a year, staying in an apartment, paying $1,700 a month, stuff like that, and they won't go buy a house because they're too nervous, because they don't feel confident, like they don't feel like they qualified yet, or that they need to be making a lot more money, and things like that. Some of them may have a kid, some of them don't have any kids, and they make a lot of money, and they still won't go buy a house, and they're going to continue to rent because they don't have the confidence that they know how to buy right. And as they start trying to get information about stuff, they feel like they aren't getting the information that they need or whatever like that. So there's a lot of anxiety when it comes to buying real estate. But I bought my first house, and I bought a foreclosure. And I'm going to explain my first house, all right? So my first house, when I bought it, by the way, it's a few of you guys on here, could you please smash the like button for me real quick? Hit the like button to help the YouTube algorithm recognize this video. Please smash the like button for me. All right, so my process for buying my first house. I knew that the lower the price of the house, the lower, oh, appreciate that, bro. Trucking from scratch. From one accountant to another. Hey, that's what's up, bro. Salute. All right, so I knew that to buy my house, if I wanted a low mortgage, I had to have a low cost initially, right? Like the cost of the house needed to be, well, the lower the price of the house, the better for the loan. Like the lower the payment was going to be on the loan, right? If the loan is higher, then I'm going to have a higher payment, right? So if the loan is 300,000, then my payment is going to be based off of that amount, and I have to pay that back with interest over 30 years, right? And so if the loan is the lowest loan that I can get, then I'd pay basically only on that amount of money. And since I was young, when I say young, I was like 25 or whatever, 24, 25, something like that. I think I was 24 when I was looking. So because I was at the age I was, I knew, even though I made a decent amount of money, I knew I wanted my payments to be low. So I knew I needed to get a low mortgage, right? I needed to get a low loan on the house. So I had to find a cheap house, right? And so the first house that I went to, so here's the rules. With getting at the time, I don't know if it's still the same. I'm assuming it's pretty much still the same. Is that Mr. McGill? I have no idea who Mr. McGill is. So I know that in order for me to get like the lowest loan, I had to have a low mortgage, right? So I had to find out what the rules were, right? I found the house, and the house was $25,000. It was a foreclosure, needed a lot of work, right? So I reached out to the VA people, VA loan people, and I'm like, yo, I'm trying to get a loan on this house. And they said, oh, that house is too low. The lowest house that you can purchase is the lowest loan we can do is $50,000. So that meant that I had to buy a house that was at least $50,000, right? Now, I might have been approved for 225 at the time or something like that, but I wasn't trying to get the most house I can buy. I was just trying to get the cheapest house I can buy because I was staying in apartments and in hotel rooms from the government. They would put me in hotel rooms and things like that. So I was trying to buy the cheapest house I can buy, right? So I'm like, okay, bet 50,000 is the lowest that I can buy. But also the house had to be livable because it was the VA loan. So it has to also be livable. So the closest that I found at the time, at first looking, I found a house that was like 75,000, and it was a really nice house, except for when I went and looked at it, the carpet had been ripped up. Some of the coverings needed to be replaced. Some other little things, like it was missing a couple things in the kitchen, like a microwave and a fridge or something like that. So the VA loan the house has to be at a certain quality of level, right? Now, this was a really, really nice house. It was a newer house, but it was just like the family that got evicted from it, like just ripped the carpet up, and stuff like that. A couple of the rooms had like lime green and pink paint. They was gonna have to be repainted by me. But as far as me getting the loan, the house had to pass a certain kind of inspection. By the way, can you guys hear me? Let me know, get in the comment section, let me know if you can hear me. All right, so the house had to pass a certain type of inspection. So what I ended up doing was I ended up reaching out to the people who owned the house, right? Because somebody had bought the house at a foreclosure on like the courthouse steps. So I reached out to them. They wanted 75,000, and I said, look, I'll pay 80,000 if you just fix these other things, right? I'll pay you the $5,000 difference that it'll take, because I got an estimate to see how much it'll cost to get fixed. And so I said, look, it's probably take like $2,000 or $3,000 to get everything fixed. I'll give you 80,000 for this house, because the mortgage was going to come in really, really like around what I was paying, a little less than what I was paying to be in a townhouse or apartment that I was in or whatever. So the guy who bought the house, he was like a lawyer or something like that, and he, I guess, bought a lot of property that way. And he said no. He bought the house for like 60 and was just turning around to sell it. It was a quick flip for like $15,000 profit. Didn't want to touch it. Said he doesn't do any work to the houses. He buys them and sells them as is. So he was definitely not trying to work with me at all when it came to that. So I was like, this is crazy, because I can't get the loan on the house without the house being at a certain kind of level, right? So the guy was just like, he wasn't willing to work with me. So I ended up back on the market. I had my heart set on that house and couldn't get it. So here I am back on the market, and I was looking like from like 70,000 and up to like 225, right? And I was just trying to find whatever I can find. And then I was like, you know what? The lowest house that I can buy is 50,000. Why? I didn't think that I would even find anything at the $50,000 range, especially what I was seeing at like 75 and up that would even pass inspection. I find this house, so I changed my parameters in the search to 50,000 and up. I didn't have a real estate agent or anything. So I changed my parameters, and this house was like 54,300. Oh no, it's 53,300 or something like that, 52, 53,000, whatever it was. So I'm flipping through the book, through the pictures on the website, looking at the house, because I see this house. I'm like, well, this is one of the houses that fit my parameters, but it's no way that this house is going to be livable. I start looking through the pictures. Turns out the house had just been remodeled. It was immaculate at the time. It was a beautiful home. It had white carpet. Everything was done. And I'm trying to figure out why it can't possibly look like it does in real life. These must be old pictures, right? So it was also another foreclosure. And so I go and I look at the house. I pull up in the yard. Like, remember, I have no real estate agent, and I can't get into any houses, right? I pull up and they have a sign in the yard. And when I pull into the driveway, the yard was beautiful. The house on the exterior was beautiful. And I couldn't believe that even the yard was as manicured as it was. I was just like in shock that this house is 54,000. This is amazing. So I called a lady, and I did the numbers, and I looked at what my loan would be on 54,000. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. It's gonna be less than $450 a month. So I'm like, I called a lady who's on the sign. She says, well, it's whatever day, it was Sunday or whatever. She's off today. She can see me like Monday or Tuesday and look at the house. And I said, let me see if I can call somebody else, because any real estate agent should be able to get you in that house, right? And I didn't have one to even try to be loyal to or whatever. So I call back the company that the lady was, like say it might be Keller Williams or Coldwell Banker or whatever. So I see the sign, I see the company she worked for. So I call the company number. I look online, get the company number, call the company, and I said, do you have any real estate agents available right now? And they said, yeah, we got a guy. He's available right now. He said they transferred me to him. He said he'd pull up right then and show me the house. So I'm like, cool. If you come do this, you my agent. He's like, bet. He showed up like 20 minutes later, let me in. As soon as we walked in, he was floored. He was like, what? For 54,000 or 53 or 52,000? He was like, no, this is crazy. So I was like, yo, I want this house. Tell them I'll give them what they asking. Full asking right now. I don't want this to go no further or whatever. He said, I can't believe this is still, like, nobody's even been looking at this house. So when I submit the offer, of course they accept it, but then I had to get like an inspection done, right? And so when the VA went out and looked at the house, so the house had been recently remodeled before the foreclosure, right? I guess people had borrowed money to remodel it and didn't end up being able to pay the loan, or something like they got a lump sum of money from some like inheritance, and they end up moving to like a mansion and just never came back. But they had borrowed the money to renovate the house and never came back to the house, and so it foreclosed. But they didn't finish the back railing outside, which was like couple $100 or something like that to finish the back railing or whatever. So since it was unfinished, the VA inspection wouldn't approve of the house until that got completed. So I told them, I said, hey, y'all want 52 or 53,000? I'll give you 54.3, throw $1,000 on it or whatever it was, 2,000. I said, if y'all do that, I'll pay that amount and y'all just finish that. But I have to have that done. They said, too easy, let's do it. They finished the railing. I closed on the house, moved in. My rent was like $780 at the time. I went from paying $780 in rent to paying $405 a month in a much bigger place. A 3-bedroom, went from a 2-bedroom townhouse to a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath with a 3rd floor attic space that was like an office for me. I put my studio and stuff up there. So it was beautiful. And that served me well. So now I still have that property. I owe 39,000. I am in no rush, or 38,000, 39,000, something like that. I am in no rush to pay it off. I've been through a lot of changes with it, with tenants and renters and things like that. But that house initially, it just saved me over $300 a month on rent, right? Initially, right? And so since then, of course, I've had tenants paying the mortgage down. I owe less money on it, but I'm in no way trying to hurry up and pay it off because I'm cash flowing, right? Well, that's the whole point. But I had to buy like AC unit, things like that, new roof, stuff like that, over a period of time. I had it since 2009. So I currently what the cost, the mortgage has gone up, but not because of interest or anything like that. It's locked in at whatever's locked in at, but it went up because of taxes. So the value of the house rose to about 138,000, and remember I owe like 38,000. So the value of the house went up to like 138,000, and I still owe 38,000, but it's $100,000 in equity there. And so because of the value going up, the taxes also go up. It's just how real estate is, right? So that was my first house, and I've had it since 2009. And my second house is this one. And I built this one from the ground, and, it's a D.R. Horton home or whatever. And I bought both houses with my VA loan with no money down, right? The only money that I spent was $1,000 in earnest money. I got a whole video on that or whatever, but real estate, the reason I wanted to do this video is because, hold on, let me see what you guys are saying. So I'd like to see the updates on the International Pro Stars. Sound is good, bro. What website did you find your house on? It was Coldwell Banker. Yeah, the website I found my house on was Coldwell Banker. And with this house, I was telling my brother who was renting at the time, he needs to get out of that apartment that he had been in for about 10 years. And I broke the numbers down to him, right? I broke the numbers and showed him how much money he had spent in rent. And he was like, oh, this is my last month. This is my last rental agreement that I'm ever going to sign. I'm getting me a house. Thank you for showing me these numbers. It was something crazy like 200,000 that he had spent renting or something like that, 220 or whatever. I can't remember how many years he had been renting, but it was quite a while. And so within 10 months of me showing him that, he purchased his first house. And because the lease that he was on was 10 months. And so when he moved, he decided to move. I was actually planning to rent for a year because I wasn't planning on staying in Atlanta at the time. I was still doing military stuff and my family was moving around and stuff. So I wasn't actually planning to stay in Atlanta. So I was just going to rent for like a year and then move, right? And all of the apartments was like, a one-bedroom apartment, average one-bedroom apartment was like $1,300, right? And I was like, okay, I need at least 2 or 3 bedrooms. And a one-bedroom apartment in Atlanta, average was $1,300. I said, no way. Because, I'm coming from paying $400 mortgages and things like that. It's no way I'm going to be paying $1,300. $1,300, I can get a house. So I went on the housing market again and was like, you know what? Maybe I just need to stay in Atlanta for a while. But I go online. Well, I go with my brother before I go online. I go with my brother, and his mortgage was less than $1,200. And when I saw that, I was like, yo, wait, what? And they want to charge me $1,300 for a one bedroom? No, I'm just going to build me a house. And his house is really, really nice, same builder. And so I just need to be on a different side of town due to where I was going to be working. So I went online and found the same builder, and saw the house that they had over here. And I came and looked at this neighborhood. Now, this house was $60,000 more than what his was. And that was just based off of the location. It's just more expensive to live in this location than where he stays. And so I was arguing with those people. I said, yo, I don't need nothing crazy. I can do this same exact house he's in. It was like, we don't build that over here. You have to get this one. So I ended up over here, but it's still, my mortgage is still less than $1,400 a month. It's actually less than that one with that one bedroom apartment because the average one bedroom apartment was 1380 at the time. So my mortgage came in lower than that. I was cool, sign me up, let's do it, right? Because at least I got 4 bedrooms. And so that's kind of been my entry level into this house. And after after what's it been, 6 years now? It's been about 6 years. I think it's been like 6 years of being here. This house has gone up like 200,000 in equity. A house just sold near here for like 450. I purchased this one for 233, and this house is better than the one that's over 450. But anyway, so there you go. Now, what I wanted to talk about, the other part of what I want to talk about in real estate. Hey, shout out to you. Live to live, live to live. Hey, I appreciate you. Yay. All right, so, okay, so the other part of what I wanted to talk about was when you have, say like the equity, right? Let's say I got like a couple $100,000 worth of equity in my houses, right? When they say real estate has made more millionaires than like anything else, that's just because if you own it and you hold it, the value go up. It goes up, right? Over time. It's just inflation, right? And it goes up fast in a bad inflation period, and things like that. And you can make money on it if you rent it out, things like that. But the money is considered dead equity. Dead equity unless you pull the money out. So you have to pull it out and get a loan on it or leverage it in some kind of way in order to use the money that's in it. So there is a thing of being land rich and cash poor. You could be land rich and cash poor. All right. So my dad had a lot of land in his name, right? But unless he sold the land or took out a loan against the land, he wasn't going to ever see his valuation, right? So my pops was worth way more than me on paper, right? If you said what, was he worth, me and him sat and I did his valuation once, and it was kind of crazy to know that that's what his valuation was, but couldn't afford basic things, like light bills sometimes, things like that. Like, it was just crazy to know that, like, yo, this guy's worth all of this, but the only way he's going to access that money is if he takes out a loan, right? And if he takes out a loan and can't repay the loan, he loses the land, right? So, and unless the land is being utilized, like being rented out or something like that, it's kind of pointless. So when I think about my valuation, because my valuation is a little crazy, right? Like my net worth is like crazy. But a lot of it, or a huge chunk of it, is real estate, You got a couple $100,000 in real estate, it raised your net worth up a lot, right? But I know I don't get tricked by the fact that unless I sell this asset or I borrow against it, which means I have to pay it back, it's dead equity. It's nothing. It's just holding value over time. So when I tell people real estate is a great investment, but unless you're flipping houses, real estate is not like. It's not like. It's not. It's nothing like having a business and you're running a business that's a successful business, and that business is just generating money, right? Real estate isn't really like that unless you're either A, actively flipping houses, or B, the real estate is paid off, or you borrow money against the real estate to buy some other asset, maybe another house. Like if you got $100,000 in your house and you could borrow against that to borrow that 100,000 and then go buy another building or another house or small house or whatever that need renovation, but you got that 100,000 that you can buy it for 60 and put $30,000 into it. Now you got another house, and then you can rent that out or borrow against that money, that value or whatever. Like you can do those things, but unless you're doing those things, that money that's sitting in the house, it's not doing anything. Because I'm telling you right now, I got a couple $100,000 in equity, but I'm not doing anything with it. Like it's just in the house, right? And it's not going to benefit me more than likely in my lifetime unless I borrow against it. Maybe my son, he's probably going to benefit. My son will benefit the most from everything that I do, right? But unless I'm actively flipping houses or I'm trying to buy more assets in order to rent them out and make a cash flow off of those rents, I can leverage the asset to do those things. So that's the good part, right? So it's dead equity unless you use it. So unless I plan to use it, it's kind of just what it is. Maybe I can borrow the money and put it into a business or something like that, but I'd still have to borrow the money, which means I still have to pay it back, which means it's still just technically a loan, right? And so if you're trying to pay things down, if that's what you're trying to do, it's kind of no reason to even discuss the equity, because that's basically what my dad's situation was. He was like, I'm not going to ever touch the value of this land because I don't want to lose it, because he still would have to pay it back, right? And he was like, nah, I'll just be broke. I just Social Security, a couple $100 a month. I just live off that. But land wise, rich. His backyard is 56 acres. His backyard. So that's what his house is bigger than this one. It's older, but bigger. So it's like his valuation was crazy, but it's pointless, unless you know what you're gonna do with it or have a plan to use it. 1 month, this house went up 22,000 in equity. This house went up 22,000 in equity, but it's nothing that I can touch, at least right now. If I sell the house, which is crazy, right? Because that's another thing. If I sell this house right now, where I'm gonna go? Like, I can't go live on this same level for the same price. Like if I sold this house for $450, I couldn't go buy a house for $450 that rival this house. That's equal right now to where I live right now. Like if I sold this house for $450 and I went onto the market, what I've been seeing, I wouldn't be able to buy a house on this same level, which is crazy. Yeah. What's good? 2G on here. Why didn't you start building houses for rent on your father's land? I'm not really gonna get into that part of why. That was actually part of the plan, but I'm not at liberty to say right now why. But that's a goal, right? That's a goal. But this is the other thing. I don't need my dad's land to build on. I can go buy my own land and build on, right? Um, I'm looking at, when I look at my account, I have like a calculation that tells me what my real estate portfolio value is, and that's not including any inherited land. And as a matter of fact, let me see. I'm gonna look at it right now. Tell you while we live what it says, because I don't want to misquote. Where is it? Okay, there it is. So it has my real estate valuation at 534,600. All right, so I don't owe anywhere close to that, as far as what I owe. So if I wanted to, I can just go borrow some money, or I have money that I can just buy land and build on. But the problem is building is expensive. Well, it was extremely expensive. And the next house that I was going to build was going to be like, I want to say it was going to be my dream home, but it was going to be one that I was going to custom build, right? And that was going to be for me, and then I could have rented this house out for over $1,000 more than what my mortgage is. Like, let's say my mortgage is 13, a little less than 14, like 1363, I think, a month right now. If I rented it out, I could have rented it out according to Zillow. According to Zillow, I could have rented it out for like 2,300. Now, I know I could have got at least 25, 2,600 a month, because I've seen houses that were smaller and not as nice rent for 23, 2,400. So I know I could have got more than that, but that's just what Zillow said. The estimate was 2,300. So I could have got almost $900 a month, from renting this out. And so I could have been moving somewhere else and making money here, paying this off, and living in a custom home that I customized and custom built. But the cost of that custom home is going to be about what my new rent income would have been, 2,400 a month, 25, maybe 2,600 a month in mortgage. And so that's what I was looking at doing. But as far as like building on my dad's land and stuff like that, or even on my own land, it's just expensive to build even those little custom homes. I even looked at trailers. I'm interested. But I think that I want to do multifamily moving forward, duplex, quadruplex, 10 unit. I was looking at a 10 unit situation. But yeah, that's part of that reason. And I can make money with other businesses that then when I make money with my other businesses, I can turn around and use that money when I like instead of getting taxed at a certain level, I just buy real estate and then I use that depreciation to lower what my so I'm basically using real estate as a protective structure against taxes and things like that. So there's two things. So I'm an accountant, right? One is that you have tax evasion and tax avoidance. And I want to be very clear here. Tax evasion is illegal. All right? You don't want to do tax evasion. All right? That's illegal. Tax avoidance is legal. That's like saying, okay, here's the tax right here. If you get to this point, you're going to have to pay this much on tax. And so you have the choice. You can either go there or you can avoid going there and go and say, okay, I'm going to go over here. Like, because they'll say, okay, well, here's the tax. This is what you have to pay if you do this. But let me give you an example. So let's say if you bring home over $75,000 in 2022, then you'll have to pay, you fall into a different tax bracket or whatever. As a single person, you'll fall into a different tax bracket, right? Where you're not protected by these things that the government say, okay, well, if you make this much, you can itemize, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. But if you make $75,000 or more, you can't do that, right? So they said, but if your salary, let's say your salary is at $90,000, right? Let's say you got a $90,000 salary. It's like looking at $75,000, like, how am I not going to make $75,000? Well, they said, well, if you put 16,000 into your 401k plan, if you invest in your retirement, will reduce what's considered taxable income to you, right? So if you put that 16,000, now it's showing that you made 74,000 from your job for that year. You did still make the 90, but you put 16,000 in your retirement. So they're incentivizing you to put money away for your retirement versus the standard $2,000 or $3,000 that most people put in their retirement. But you just put 16,000 in there. Did your check go down? Yes. What you brought home pay went down, but that money that's in that retirement account is still accessible to you. You can go borrow against your own money and pay yourself back, but up front, that money is one, saving you in taxes or allowing you to still itemize other areas or whatever. And don't quote me, I'm just giving you an example. But it just allowed you to also itemize and reduce your taxable income with other ways because you avoided that $75,000 mark. So then you still get to save. But if you hit that 75K mark, you might push yourself out of that ability. So now you still have this ability to still reduce or do some other things with your taxes because you didn't hit the $75,000 mark, but you also were incentivized to put money in your retirement. So when we're looking at things like depreciation with the houses and stuff like that, you made a certain amount of money with your houses, but you get to depreciate that house over 27 and a half years. See, that's the one thing that I almost wish that I had done was to have purchased a more expensive house. See, my house was only $54,000, and then I think the land was like $10,000. So you can't depreciate land at all. So you got to subtract the $10,000 from, say, the $54,300 that I paid for the house, and out of that, $44,300 is can be depreciated over 27 and a half years. So then you take the 44,300 and then divide that by 27 and a half, and that's how much you can reduce your income received off of the real estate that year. Not to mention any things that some of the things that you did, and then there's other things, right? Like an AC unit is not. And don't quote me. I'm not your tax accountant. I'm just saying. I don't believe. Okay, this is. I'm not your tax accountant, but if you install a real estate, if you install an AC unit, right? You install an AC unit, but because of the type of fixture that it is, because you have movable fixtures and immovable fixtures, but the AC unit is not an item that you can say, okay, I just installed this thing and well, I just got this done. Maybe carpet or something like that. I put carpet in. I can get that, maybe getting that written off because you're purchasing that for your rental property. So you put the carpet in, maybe you can get that entire carpet cost written off for the year you put it in. But if you put an AC unit in, you can't write off the entire amount of the AC unit because it's a part of the house. I don't know how it's a different kind of way they do it. You have to depreciate that. You can't write that off all in 1 year. You have to break it down over a certain amount of years. So if you spent $7,000 putting an AC unit in, and let's say you had it depreciated over, I don't know, 10 years. I'm just throwing a number out there. Maybe it's 5, but let's say you had to depreciate over 10 years. That's $7,000. You get to take $700 down from your taxes over a 10-year time frame to get that $7,000 back. You get incentivized to do that. But that is tax avoidance. That is not tax evasion. That is like, this is the law, follow the law. You can make smart decisions based off of knowing the law and go around it. I hope I didn't just go too crazy on this accounting stuff, all right? I didn't want to lose anybody. But, I'm out here, we out here, All right, so let's see. I do custom work and home improvements. 2G, yeah. So 2G is my brother. He does custom work and home improvements. He put the shelves in. If you go check out that video, that was him putting the shelves in on his channel. What is this? Okay. I got to block these people real quick. There's some spam going on over here. Let me do this. Report. Unwanted. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I'm just trying to get these spam people off of here. Is it? I don't think it. Okay. Trying to get these folks off of here. Yeah. By the way, I don't know how many of you guys been on this live with me the last couple of days. But I appreciate y'all for sure. Definitely appreciate you guys. Riding with your boy. Okay. Turn your volume up a little. Okay. Let me turn the volume up. Hello? Yo. Can you hear me? Is this better? Or should I go up higher? Am I too loud? Is this even working? Oh, you know what? I'm not even turning the right thing up. Don't tell nobody. How about now? Is that getting better? Is the volume better? Yo? How is it? How about now? Is this better? All right, so an acre in a major city costs $25 to $50K an acre before the bill. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Am I too loud, by the way? Or am I good? I don't know. Look, I'm trying to see. Should I go up a little more? See, I be asking people what my volume be like. I didn't do it in this one because I did in the last one, and I still got the same settings, so I don't know. I'm Gucci? Okay. Appreciate y'all. But it's crazy that, I turn the volume up at the end of the video. Yeah. I appreciate that. Where y'all from? Where y'all checking in from? Where y'all watching from? Nowhere near too loud. Okay. All right, I'm going to go up a little more then. I'm going to go up a little more. How about now? Oh, I think I might have just jump too high. How about now? How's that? I'm good? Where y'all coming from? Where y'all checking in from? Let me know. Trying to see where y'all watching from. Let me go in here and see what was going on. Trying to see where y'all from, man. Anybody saying that? Where y'all from? Get in the chat. Okay, West Side, Chicago. Okay. All right, that's what's up. Wild L23. So, you know my dog, so Wild L23, you know my dog, 16 shot him? He's doing this thing. But he done moved to LA now. But yeah, that's the homie. Oh, yeah, because this is the way the mic is. So you said when I read off the screen to the right, the volume get lower. Yeah, that's just, the mic is here, you know. So that's all that is. So, but I'm saying when I'm doing this right here, how's the volume? Is the volume Gucci now? All right. Just gave me a like, man. Yeah, could y'all please smash that like button? Oh, yeah, we definitely need more likes on this. We definitely need more likes. If y'all could, please smash the like button. Look, according to this thing over here, I'm peeking out. Okay, DL say you're a truck driver headed to Atlanta. That's what's up. What you delivering? You picking up or you delivering something? Marion, Indiana, waiting to deliver in the morning. Trey Lincoln, you're a truck driver? Okay. For sure. So y'all sure I ain't peeking out because this thing is saying I'm peeking out. Y'all saying I'm Gucci. Guess I'm Gucci then. Right. Maybe I need to move my screen over here so I ain't like looking over here the whole time. Yeah. All right. So, are you guys planning to either get into real estate or are you already in real estate? What's going on? You know, real estate it got a lot of people excited. You know, it's attractive. You know, everybody want to be in real estate, but there's a lot of things that people don't realize about real estate, you know. Now, flipping houses is an entire different beast. And if you got 30 units or 40 units, then yeah, you might be making a decent bag, but one house ain't gonna do it. I'm telling you right now. Now, it will grow in value over time, and that's a good thing, but it's not like gonna be like life changing because you bought one house that you're gonna rent it out or something like that, unless it's like a mansion and you're doing Airbnb stays and charging like $2,000 a weekend or something like that. Like, you know, it's definitely not gonna be life changing. And even that, right? You got a mansion. And let's say if you made $8,000 for the month, but you paying, I don't know, $6,000-$7,000 a month. Yeah, you might profit $1,000. It's not life changing though. $12,000 a year is not life changing. And then if, Lord forbid, you got to put you got to put 5 AC units in that mansion or something like that. Like it's crazy. Yeah. So let me tell you what happened with mine. My house, my rental property, I put an AC unit in. The AC unit is leaking through the ceiling of the second floor, the first floor ceiling is leaking. We don't really know why the AC unit guy got to go by there tomorrow. Well, he's supposed to go today, but he got to go by there tomorrow and figure out why it's doing this. It's a brand new unit. Got to figure out why it's doing that. And then we got to, what else we got to do? We got to, we're going to have to repair the drywall. Like, he's going to have to cut that ceiling and all of that. And I just got all this done. And I got to do it again, right? But, you know, you invest back into your stuff, get your stuff right. Don't worry about the little money. It's going to come back over time. But, you know, I'd rather be right than to be wrong. You see what I'm saying? What do I think about a fourplex? I think that I would be happier if I was getting the profit that I get per month per unit from a 4 unit, right? Like let's say you get $500 a month profit for the house that you got, but you got a 4 unit and you made $500 per month profit per unit, right? Then yeah, I like that, because you're going from a $500 profit to a $2,000 profit. I was about to subtract the cost because the cost is going to be higher to usually it's going to be higher, but depending on where you are, it might be reasonable. I saw some decent price duplexes and things like that, but you also have one roof, right? That's one of the advantages of having a 4 unit is that it's the same roof, right? Let me stop these things from trying to these things be popping up on here, man. It's crazy. All right, so Trey Lincoln said he out of Texas running the Midwest. That's what's up. DL say he delivering pies. Not Atlanta, just passing through, I guess. Oh. Okay. So DL said he wants to. He said I want to make $1 million in net business one day. I have a 760 FICO and an 80K deposit. How do I start? What do you want to start in? Real estate? I mean, it's a lot of ways, right? Like 80K, that's dope. Are you saying you got $80,000 cash that you can afford to put down? Or what are you saying exactly? But it's a lot of ways, right? Initially, your return on investment is going to be based off of the money that you put down. I, for one, would try to put the least amount of money down as possible. That's me. But let's say you could do simple math, right? So that 80,000, if you had 80,000 that you could put down, you multiply that 80,000 times 5, and you can buy up to $400,000 worth of real estate with the 80K, right? So let's say you didn't spend the 400,000. Let's say you wanted to buy something for 100,000, right? And of course, you have to be looking at BNC markets to find something decent for 100,000, but they still do exist in markets like Albany, Georgia, Macon, Georgia, probably Columbus, Georgia, and some other smaller towns. But you buy something for like 100,000, you got to put 20% down. 20% of 100,000 is $20,000. So you can put that down and you can remodel it. Let's say you buy an asset for 100,000, and you need to put down and you need to remodel it with maybe $20,000, right? So, So you in at 120, but you only really had to come out of pocket. If you don't use hard money, you use all your money. You only use 40,000 because you had to put 20,000 down to get the loan on 100. Plus, you would have to put another 20,000 down. So you'd be paying back 80,000, but you put another 20,000 into the place with your own money. You don't owe anybody going to pay no points. Yeah, so you got $80,000 cash total. Yeah, man, for sure. It's definitely out here. And then you got a great credit score. And this is the thing about credit scores. I got people who got 800 credit scores, but they're not trying to invest in anything. So it's like, what's the point of having, like, why are you focused on building? Like, people are like, yo, I'm building my credit, but they're not planning to use it. What's the point of even worrying about your credit score? If you're going to still buy everything with cash, if you're still never going to use your credit, what's the point? You don't want to ever invest. You don't ever want to go into business. You don't ever want to build anything. You don't ever want to leverage your credit to buy something. You're just happy that you got good credit, but you might as well not have any credit if you're not going to use it. 797 FICO score and rising. Oh yeah, house hacker building for sure, for sure. But DL, like, it's a lot of opportunity. Like, what I'm really interested in is event spaces. So what I want is a spot that's not necessarily like around anything per se. Like, it can be in a neighborhood, but I don't really want like the houses that are like right beside each other. I want a spot that may have an acre or half an acre between that house and the next spot. And even if I have to build it, I want it so that I can build something where families can come and rent and have a family event or a wedding reception or something like that. That's kind of what I'm into. Or even if it was a mansion party or a party at a house, like you want to have a party at a house. A lot of people want to have parties at people's houses, but there's no way. But like if you're in the city or somebody got a house in the neighborhood, they don't really allow parties because of the neighbors. It's not too much because of the homeowner. You want to pay us $1,000 to have a party on Saturday? Cool, that's fine. But the neighbors are tripping, right? Because if it's just a house that I don't live there. I don't care what y'all doing, right? Keep it clean, get security, whatever. Have a house party, no problem. But it's really difficult for people to do that, especially when they're trying to do this in regular neighborhoods. Like, you couldn't do that in my neighborhood. Like, the police will get called for sure. You want to have a graduation party? That sounds great. No, we're not doing that. It's nowhere to park. It's nowhere for all these cars and music playing loud at night. No. So I want a spot that has enough space where we can play music, where we can park on the grass, where we can park. We're not really a part of what's going on outside of, next door and stuff like that. I don't want my neighbors, like, yo, who is that screaming outside and laughing and talking junk? Like, that's what I want. Okay. DLC, I want to have a 4-unit. Okay, so you want a 4-unit. So you don't want to use the term townhouse unless you're able to buy 4 houses. The reason why is a townhouse. I actually did a video on this. Has it not released yet? Let me see. I did a video on this. It may not have came out yet. Let me see. Did I already do this video? No, I don't think it came out yet. Let me see. Okay. Oh, I think I might have done it. Yeah, I did. No, it hasn't came out yet. It's coming out on the 30th. So, 2 days. 2 days? The 30th. Yeah, it's premiering on the 30th. I don't know why it's premiering on the 30th. But it's coming out on the 30th. But I talk about this video. I talk about this on the video. I might drop it tomorrow. What is tomorrow? Is tomorrow Wednesday or Thursday? Yeah, tomorrow's Wednesday. I think this should have came out tomorrow. Let me look. Let me see why it's not coming out tomorrow. I'm going to change it. But I did a video where I talk about this. It's called, what's the name of it? Hold on. Let's see what the name of it is. The name of the video is Multifamily Investing with the VA Loan. Now, I was talking about it with using the VA loan, but I also talked about the fact that a townhouse and a quadruplex are not the same thing. A 4-unit townhouse and a 4-unit quadruplex is not the same thing. A 4-plex is not the same thing. So the reason why it's different is a townhouse has separate addresses. A 4-unit apartment building has the same address. It might say might be 1327 apartment A, B, C, or D, or 1, 2, 3, or 4. But a townhouse is considered a separate house. So if you were trying to get funding on it, because you can buy a 4-unit as a single family home, but if you're trying to get funding for a 4-unit apartment or townhouse, then they're going to sell that to you as an individual house. It's not going to be considered one house. Now, as you coming in as an investor, let's just say you might be able to buy a 4 unit for, let's say, 250, right? Each one of those townhouses is gonna, if you buy a 4 unit townhouse, they're gonna be sold separately, individually, and if you buy four, one of them might be 150, the other one might be 125, the other one might be 300. You have to figure that out. Now, some of them might be able to buy them all together, but most of the time, they're considered separate addresses, and because they're considered separate addresses, the bank, like if say you're trying to buy it as a single family residence, like for yourself, they're not going to let you buy 4 units at one time. But I talk about this in more detail on that video. Let me see. Okay. Okay. That sounds like a 20 to 30 acre project, but the acreage with no restrictions outside of town. It might cost you 300K. No. I only need 300 acres, right? Have you not seen any mansions on like 2 acres? I've seen mansions on 2 acres, and it's good. An acre is 43,000 and something feet, right? So if you got a 10,000 square foot house, you still got 33,000 feet. That's on an acre, which if you got 2 acres, you're talking about pools. Not saying that I'm even trying to like do a mansion. I would love to do a mansion, but a mansion costs like mansion prices. So don't necessarily have to start with a mansion, but just a decent sized crib. Like even if this house was somewhere where it was not around anybody, this would be straight. And it's only 3,000 and some square feet. This would be good. Just to have a place where you can have parties. I've had a couple here. Of course, the neighbors don't like it, but yeah. So you say you do want to have 4 townhouses, but that's the problem. That's $1 million in loans, and I'm not rich. How could I afford to build a project like that? Why do you want it to be townhouses? Are you planning on selling them? What's the difference for you with it being a townhouse or a quadruplex? Because you can build you can have a quadruplex and pretty much accomplish the same thing, unless you're trying to like sell them. Are you planning to sell them, or what is it? What's the reason why you wanted to do a townhouse instead? Yeah, 20, 30 acre project, bro. You know how big a 20, 30 acre project, that's I don't know too many apartment complexes that are on 20 acres. I don't know apartment, like I don't even know a 20 acre housing unit, like project like that. Like that's 20 acres is a lot. 20 acres is a lot. No, I just need 2 or 3 acres, build a nice spot, and that'll be enough. That'll give me enough space away from the general public to, I got even a half an acre on each side, and can sit the house back far enough where you can park in the front, ain't really affecting nothing. It'd be good. Be good money. Trust me. I don't know who these spam people are, man. It's crazy. Okay. All right. So, all right. Rent them out. Appreciation would be higher. Yeah. So appreciation, I understand that, but when you're talking about rental property, appreciation is going to be based off of rents. It's not going to really be based off of like how it would be if you were just buying and selling, right? So, you can sell each individual unit separately for a townhouse, but if your plan is to rent them out, then that's different. But also having those individual units is just going to cost you more. Now, can you fund this project? Absolutely. I'm trying to think. How many square feet are you talking about for the townhouses? Like you can do it, right? Like let's say you was going to do, I don't know, 400 square feet, and each unit is 1,100 square feet or something like that. So you'll look at that. and then you just get your prices built around that kind of valuation. Like if you're doing 100 and say you're doing $150. Now I don't know what the current prices is per square foot, right? But let's say you're doing let's say $150 a square foot times, I don't know, maybe you want to make the units 1,200 square feet. So let's see. So 4,800 square feet for all 4 units. That's like 720,000. And then, you got land acquisition. Is that what you want to do? I mean, you could do it. But if 720,000 times 0.2, you're going to need about 144,000, to put 20% down. Now, and when you're talking about building, and hold on, we was at 4,800 square feet. 4,800 square feet times 1,200. 1,200 square feet times. No. 1,200 square feet. No. I'm sorry. 4,800 square feet times $150. 720,000. Let's say land acquisition for something like that. Let's just say 150,000. Let's just say 100,000. I think you could probably find land depending on where you're gonna build for 100,000, maybe even less, 50,000 to 100,000. Well, let's just say 100,000 and put you at 820,000 times 0.2 for 20%. That's 164,000. You still got carrying costs of carrying a loan before anybody can move in and all that kind of stuff. So, you basically can probably do it with a bank loan for about double what you currently at right now. All right, so because you're at 80,000 now, it's a lot to build. If you're planning to build from scratch, you might be better trying to find something that fits. Like for instance, I know a guy is trying to sell 10 units for 160,000, but all the units need work. It's a 10-unit apartment. It's like 2 buildings, 1 6 units and 1 4 units, and he wants somebody to pay 160,000 to purchase the land and the buildings, right? Now they say the roof is fine, but the insides are completely gutted, and you can work on each unit one by one. But basically, the land is 160,000 for the units and all of that, and it's possible that you can get it, right? Because let's say 160,000, that'd be about $32,000 you'll need to put down if you're purchasing it as an investment property at 20%. So you put $32,000 down, but then you have to get a renovation loan or something like that, or maybe you can do that even inside of this loan. But I don't know what it would cost to renovate them all, But it's 10 units, and I don't think the units are big, but, it's just, lots of parking, yeah. It has lots of parking, too. Let's see, land and build 2 apartments on it instead of 4 townhomes. Right, that's, yeah. But, if you're building based off of square foot and things like that, then, yeah, you're probably looking at somewhere close to $800,000 to $1 million for sure, depending on what you're trying to build. And is it like possible? Heck yeah, it's possible. Yeah. You can do it. I know you can do it. And you got a lot of money already, right? I would probably, thinking about your situation, what I would probably do is I would take the 80, like I was saying, put 20 down on something that's 100,000, put another 20 into it. This is me brainstorming. Put another 20 into it, so you out of pocket 40,000. But if you bought a $100,000 house that need work, you put $20,000 worth of work in it, right? So you all in at 120,000. Well, that's with the loan and with the money down in the renovation at 120,000. But the house is now worth let's say if the house is worth 180 now because of the work you put into it, right? So you still owe 80,000 plus you put. So let's say you still ended at 120. Now multiply the 180 because now you got this new valuation. House worth 180,000. Multiply that by 0.8. Do a cash out refinance. That'll give you 144, which then that 144 is your new cost on the house, but you'll pull the money you put in back out. So yes, you'll put a new mortgage on it, but you'll be able to pull all the money you put in back out, and now you have a little bit more money to work with. And you can do this process a couple times, and you'll be able to build up your income from this one house and till you can get it to the 160 mark, and but there you go. And you'll still have the house, and people will be renting it and paying it down and all that. But you can do this a couple times and get your income built up. Or, of course, you could just sell the house, right? And so let's see. If you sold the house at 180 times 6, so you end up paying about $10,800 in real estate agent costs. I don't know what the cost would be for closing costs or anything like that. I don't know, but this is the 180. That'll put you about 169, and you owe total 120 to yourself and to the bank. You owe the bank 80,000. You owe yourself 40. So after everything is said and done, there'll still be like 49,000, $40,000 to $50,000 worth of profit that you can then add on top of your 80,000 and continue to keep going up. But it's just an idea. And that's if you sold a house and you paid the real estate commission of 6% and all that. Yeah. Anyway, I was just coming on here to talk to you guys about real estate because it is a real thing to be land rich and cash poor. It is a real thing. Hold on. How do I do this over here? I'm trying to see. There it is. Here we go. All right. So anyway, about to get up off of here. It's a pleasure, you know what I'm saying, coming on here with you guys, man. And about to get up off of here. I want to go live again tomorrow. Y'all let me know, like, should we start doing this more often? Like, should I try to go live like a couple times a week? What y'all think? By the way, let me see something. Hold on. I got to check the like button. I got to see if y'all done hit the like button. All right? I got to see it with my own eyes. Let me see. Anybody missed the like button? Let me see what y'all got going on. All right, so. Okay. Here we go. All right, let's see what we're doing on this live button. On this like button. All right, so. Oh, man, we got to get some more lights on here, man. We got to get some more lights on here. Could y'all please smash the like button for me? Hit that like button for me. Y'all hit that like button. Hit that like button. See, hold on. I missed these questions. Okay, know of any brokers with any good financing programs for investment property? I have 5 doors trying to get a duplex without putting 20% down. What do you think? What you think? Hold on, let me. Are you trying to leverage? The amount appreciation will be high. Okay, appreciation will be higher than what the fourplex. Okay. Know of any brokers with any good financing programs for investment property? I have 5 doors trying to get a duplex without putting the 20% down. What do you think? I got a video with a guy named Joe Castaneda. You have to look it up on here. You can type in Casino is the name, hard money lender, I think. You'll probably be able to find the video. But Joe put his contact information out. He is a financer for hard money lending. They do all sorts of stuff. I would probably, based off of what you're saying, I would probably start with him before I even start talking to, because he'll know if he has a program that would work for you, because they got all kind of stuff. They got buy and hold strategies. They got fix and flips. They got all kinds of stuff. So depending on what you want to do, I'm not really clear on what you want to do as far as, are you trying to leverage, are you trying to leverage the money that's in your current properties? And this is for leasee. Are you trying to leverage the money that's in your current property, or are you trying to do something different? Like, I'm not really sure. DL said, appreciate it, no problem. I appreciate you. I like the hustle of it. If we are making money together, then the time is worth it. Oh, for sure. For sure. Cool. Fix and flip it. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, DL. Matter of fact, everybody on here, y'all hit me on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. Message me on Instagram. Tell me you just caught the live. My Instagram is @King Casino. Matter of fact, I'm going to put it on here. Let me see. King Casino 1. King, 1. And I'm going to try to let you guys know, because I definitely want to do some networking with everybody, man. There's some money out here. We can get some big money, yo. Some big money out here. And I was even thinking about doing like a hedge fund for like a real estate fund, doing something like that. But I don't know. Definitely been thinking about doing that. JT Hustle's one of my partners, man, player partners. He been trying to see what, he was hitting me up, asking me about that. Matter of fact, I need to send this to him. Y'all got me thinking about all kinds of stuff. But yeah, he hit me up talking about doing a hedge fund and stuff. Wanting to do a hedge fund. I'm like, you know what? Why I ain't doing this? Because real estate funds and things like that, man, I should definitely be on something. I don't even know which one of these groups. I'll put it in here. But yeah, so we did a real estate fund. It might not be a bad little situation, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of opportunities. So when you got groups of people, I don't want to say crowdfunding, but like as a group, if we fund something together, everybody put a couple dollars in, it's a lot easier. Ain't that heavy lifting, and you get experience according to, so lenders look for people who got experience doing stuff. So if you got experience flipping a house or being a part of a deal, then that experience can help reduce your interest rate, and or even maybe give you more money that they trust you with or something like that. So getting experience could be a good thing. But let me see. For sure, I don't know. I don't do Instagram, but I am on YouTube heavy. All right, for sure. But make sure you hit the bell icon. So, because first, people subscribe, right? So you want to be subscribed, but hit the bell icon. That way, next time I go on here, you know what I'm saying, you'll get the notification if you haven't already. That goes for everybody on here, but please smash that like button if you haven't already. You feel me? Let's see. All right, I'm about to get up off of here, but I appreciate y'all tuning in, rocking with me. I don't know how long we've been on here, but hit that thumbs up. That's right, hit that thumbs up. Shout out to hit that thumbs up. All right, so I'm about to get up out of here, but appreciate y'all. Right now, you watching Casino Is the Name. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And we are out.
Beat me up, Scotty. Me and her together, we just count it up. Money on my mind, I can't get enough. Don't play with my money, you don't want no beef. Cause I come from the bottom, I come from the street. When she first saw me, she said, who is that? When a man saw me, he called me a threat. I'm the one that really live, wanna rap.
An hour. It's crazy, right? There's money everywhere. There's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino is the name. They're a hedge fund manager.